Hey, what's up everybody? My name is KingZee. Welcome back to the AfterLife SMP. Just standing over here looking at our beautiful dock area that we built last episode. It finally feels like this area is coming together. We need to add a lot more buildings to the area, a lot more detail to the area, but we're getting there. We're getting there. It's only episode 8. We've got a lot done so far. Now, last episode, we ended off over there where the castle is going to be built, and we dug out a massive hole down here, and I've been doing a little bit of work over here. I took out the inner ring, just left the top section here, but if you look all the way down there, we've gotten all the way down to bedrock, and I've also placed a little bit of glass and a little bit of black concrete around the edges. Now, originally I'd planned to be right at bedrock, but I was thinking about mining purposes, and I think mining at level 11 is still going to be good, at least until 1.18 comes out. So what we're going to do is we're going to build up to level 11 with glass, and I figured I want to do glass because I do want a little bit of a fog effect, but I still want to see the bedrock down here a little bit, but I do want that glass effect. So I've been murdering a ton of squid, like a ton of squid. I've also been over to the desert area and I have been mining sand like nobody's business. I have plenty of coal to smelt all the sand into glass, but my only problem has been getting the black dye for the amount of glass that we need for this area, because I think I have 12 stacks of glass and it's nowhere near. See, that's already a stack of glass right there. It's nowhere near the amount that I need. So I could smelt all the glass I want and make this thing work out really well, but I just need the dye. So I contacted Art and I contacted Ash, and we'll see who gets back to us first to find out if they have a little bit of a supply of black dye, because I've been out there just murdering the entire population of squid and it's not really good for the environment. So I'm gonna go ahead and place all this glass real quick in a little bit of a time lapse just so you can see how far 6 stacks of glass will actually get us. All right, so you guys saw just how far those 12 stacks of glass actually got us, which was almost halfway, not quite, but you can kind of see the problem. We have to do this layer and the next layer, and I really don't have a whole lot of black dye left, so I know I'm going to need more dye in the future, and I know we're going to be starting to create some farms here. So I think one of the farms I want to try to do is a squid farm, and there's a nice little river biome over here that is kind of away from the ocean, so I wouldn't have to remove too much water. Right over here near this flower forest, you can see there's a little bit of river here, but if you go just past it over here, there we go. These guys right here would be perfect. So I probably will place a squid farm right here just to make it easier for us to get some black dye. And the fact that we have a flower forest here, I could potentially use that as a dye farm as well. So we maybe could have a potential shop business going on with like a dye shop. I know that Ash and Art are going to do it, but I haven't seen them do it yet. And it's always fun to have a little bit of competing product going around. So I'm sure they wouldn't mind. And if anything, I could just keep all the dye to myself and sell it in bulk to whoever may need it for a quick buck. But with that being said, I need to gather a whole bunch more sand and a ton of more squid. So let's cut to the montage of me murdering the population of squid again. right, now that we have the squid farm going, and it doesn't really work so well when somebody's on the server, but if I'm all alone, that thing actually does pretty well, especially for the amount of black dye that I actually need. So I was able to finish putting all the glass down there, but we ran out of sand. I have been completely depleted of sand, so I'll probably have to stop over at the desert and do a little bit of mining later on just for future projects. We do have a good amount of glass left over, which is kind of nice. It won't get us anywhere if we want to do another layer, but I don't plan on doing that at least until 1.18. But the next thing I want to talk about is our storage system. So this is a really great little storage system for a starter base. It worked pretty well on this side, and then we just took it down one level, got ourselves some more storage, and it's still working pretty well. My only problem is I have completely run out of space for stone, especially since digging out that huge pit over there for the castle. And this will be a good little storage for, you know, everything that I have as we're building our next project. We're going to be building a automated storage system, and I also want to fit in an automated smelter. I'm probably going to be looking at Puffing Fish's design here on the Afterlife. The reason I want to use his design is because it's modular and you can kind of place it anywhere you want. And my idea for it, I'm not really sure exactly what level I want to have our storage on, but I'm definitely going to have a few smelters on that level as well. So let me kind of paint the picture for you guys here. We have a giant hole in the ground. I want to have our storage system in a circular design all the way around here at some level. What level, I'm not totally sure yet. And I want to have the auto smelter in every corner just to make it easy if I need to smelt something. And there'll also be like a crafting area over there in those corners as well, just to make it easy. In the center here, I want to have another hole that's going to lead down to the 1.18 areas. It's going to be a lot smaller, and it's kind of just going to be our mine shaft into the 1.18 mines. But surrounding that hole, I want to have a little bit of an aquarium. I want to mix in some axolotls, some other fish, maybe some squid, some glowed squid. I want it to go almost all the way up, and I might have it weaving its way all the way up. Because around the edges here, we're going to build some steampunk buildings and kind of like a small little city in this hole. I want to have bridges going across, ways up, ways down, cogwheels, all that good stuff. And as we get to the top here, I'm going to build this up. I'm not totally sure how much higher I'm going to build this up, but I want a glass dome over this thing. And then we'll have parts of the castle around it, like surrounding this glass dome. If the glass dome is the focal point, I'm not totally sure yet. But in order to get all that building done, I'm definitely going to need an automated storage system to help me gather all the materials I need for it. And I also want some auto smelters. So I'm going to get planning. I'm going to do some research and see just what we can fit in here. So I think what we'll do is a little bit of a resource gathering montage. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that little montage. You saw me mining out some of these areas. I've done the same on this side as this side. I dug in over here a little bit, dug this one out quite a bit. As you can see, it leads into our mine shaft over there. And this also leads into our original mine shaft over here. Now, the point of all this mining was to actually gather a bunch of redstone, which you saw me mine over here, which turned into these blocks of redstone. I was cutting down trees to get some chests, and I'm probably gonna have to do a lot more tree chopping just to get as many chests as I possibly can get, because I'm gonna need a ton of hoppers. And speaking of hoppers, I'm gonna need a ton of iron. So I've just been mining out a little bit of the ores that we gathered here today. Gonna need to do a whole lot more mining and or build ourselves an iron farm, which is potentially a plan. Or with all the diamonds that I've gathered, I can head over to the spawn area and buy myself a bit more iron to hopefully supply us with the amount of hoppers that I need for the storage system. I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to do the storage system. I know I'm gonna lift it up one layer. So this layer down here is gonna be kind of empty except for the way that'll be eventually going down to the next mine shaft area in the 1.18 update. But I'm gonna have our storage on this level here, and I'm just in the planning stages right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna gather the rest of the materials that I possibly need, and we're gonna jump into a time lapse of me building up our storage system. Alright, welcome back everybody. We have a fully automated storage system that isn't totally automated because there are a few items that I'm going to be placing in some of these sections, especially the wood areas where I don't have a spot for the planks, stairs, or slabs, which I'll probably end up just putting in the bottom section here like I have these chests over here. But for the most part, it's fully automated and we have 1, 2, and 3 sections completely laid out. I guess I still need to place the items in here, but I have some crimson stem and some warp stem in these 2 sections here for all the wood types to be on this side. Over here, I do have a plan for it. I'm just not totally sure if I want it exactly the way I have it just yet. Over here is most of the 1.17 and 18 blocks, and then over here is all your basic stones and stuff like that. So got a pretty good layout, I think. I mean, it is my first automated storage system, so I'm not totally sure how it's going to work going forward, but I think I got everything that I need to have for at least this build, which is kind of the idea for the storage system. Now, to show you guys how this works, these right here in the center of every one of these sections, there is an input barrel that has a hopper underneath it. So if I place all these in here and we head to the back over here, you can see our sorting system back here. So all of this is for the sorting system, but our input barrel is back there, has a hopper chain that goes into this elevator, which you can see some of the items going through right now. If we pop up here, they flow into this chest here at the very top, move along the hopper chain, and then they move along the hopper chain all the way through here, and it keeps going all the way around the system. So it goes in a clockwise motion all the way around the system until it hits its designated area, which in this case would be this first chest here, which is already full. That one is also full, and that one is full. So I guess it goes into, it'll go down here if it eventually gets here. But we do have a lot of items back there already backed up. Well, that leads me to my only flaw that I found in the system so far is because I only have 1 input chest per side. It does have to flow all the way through the system. So for oak logs here, if I were to place these items into the barrel, they would flow all the way through the system until they got right back to here, which not only takes a long time, but if any of these hoppers aren't locked up top here, which that's the way I figured this out, the dripstone is actually unlocked, and I had a lot of items flowing into there that needed to be either over here, or I was putting a lot of stone because we do have a lot of stone from digging out this area. I was putting stone into a lot of these other barrels just to get it to flow in there a little faster. And I had a lot of stone ending up in the dripstone area. But I do have an idea for that, because while I was designing the pillars here and making this thing look pretty around here, I ended up putting barrels every other pillar. And that kind of works out to our advantage, because instead of having to place the oak logs into this one and waiting for it to go all the way around, or instead of placing it into that one and waiting to come over here, I could just make another input point right here and right here. So if I need anything to go in these 7 chests here, I could place them in this barrel. Or if I needed them to go into these 4 sections, I could place it in this barrel. Now, having another section here would be kind of redundant, so I'm probably not going to do that. But I do have the ability to place a lot more inputs in this system than I originally thought, and it'll make placing items into the system a little bit easier, a little bit nicer. So I'm probably going to do that next episode. Another thing we want to work on next episode is texturing the floor here, texturing the ceiling, figuring out what we want to do with these pillars. I'll probably just texture them for now until I figure out exactly what I want to do. They might not change after we texture them, just because I don't really know what to do down here just yet. And another thing, I need some stairs. I need some stairs to go down here. I need some stairs to go all the way up through the system. And I want to build some smelting areas like auto smelters and stuff like that. I think I talked about that earlier this episode. And I think I'm going to place them in these 4 corners along with our staircase and probably a crafting area, just to make it a little easier for ourselves. But I think that's going to wrap it up for today's episode. If you guys stuck around for the whole thing, I really do appreciate it. Remember, if you're brand new or haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so. It really does help my channel grow, and I really do appreciate it. Remember to leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know what you think of today's episode. Let me know what you think of the series, and I'll see you all next time here in the Afterlife.